What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what Green Gas Blaster did. He asks, if the Emperor was to become a god, would that make the Imperium Chaos Worshippers? Considering he would be a god the same way that the OG Chaos Gods like Khorne and Nurgle would be Chaos Gods. So the Emperor supposedly is turning into a Chaos God. He's being worshipped like a god and...
against his will.
Yes. And all of those emotions are manifesting along with the Emperor's essence, who's protecting the Warp Gate on Terra.
And powering the Astronomicon.
Yep, and then it's just turning him into the God of Order. Would that mean that all the other Imperial citizens, basically anybody who is worshipping the Imperial Creed or some form of it, would that make them Chaos Worshippers? Yeah.
In a way, yeah. Because if he's a Chaos God, then Chaos Worship. Through association.
And that doesn't mean that it's not like a negative, because those Imperial citizens are worshipping the Chaos God. The God Emperor. Just like a Nurgle worshipper worships Nurgle. Just because you're a Nurgle worshipper doesn't mean that Slaanesh can tempt you, Khorne can tempt you. It's the exact opposite. Once you align yourself with a specific Chaos God, it's basically blood in, blood out. And that's the same with the Emperor. So if you are worshipping the Imperial Creed, you are fixed with the God Emperor.
Basically, your soul isn't yours anymore. It now belongs to the God that you're worshipping.
Yep. The good thing is that the Emperor is protecting you, and he will make you a part of the Army of the Light once you pass away. Because that's the whole ideals of the Imperial Creed. That once you die, you are protected by the Emperor from the lore of chaos.
Next question is by the WAAAGH. Which 40K race is the kindest to animals? I play 40K with my girlfriend's family, and her criteria for joining in is playing an army that's kind to animals in-game and in the lore.
It's really weird. It's just very specific.
Yeah, but I mean, you need people to play the game. Yeah.
I would say the Exodites. You're going to have to kit bash, and you're going to have to use the Craft World Eldar rules, but Exodites are the most nature-friendly.
Yeah, if you're playing Space Marines, Space Wolves, because wolves?
Yeah.
I want to say the Tau, but I mean...
They're more technology, right?
Yeah, but even if they're more technology, like, the crew, they have a respect for, like, nature and animals, that kind of thing. Because if they do decide to eat an animal, they're going to use up like the whole body to make sure that the genes that they need are being ingested properly.
Right. Next question comes from Impulse in the Zone. Has an orc ever tried to put on Space Marine armor? Yeah, they do. Ard boys usually have like Space Marine shoulder plates and stuff like that they have looted from the field of battle.
Destroy. I'm slowly getting tired of asking over and over and waiting for an answer. But, do you know the SCP Foundation Universe? If not, look into it. No, I don't think we do. Or I don't, at least.
I know vaguely of it. We'll look into it a little bit more. There's no question, like...
I guess that was his question. Like,
your question is, do we know? Okay.
No, but we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming it's probably like a universe that could rival the 40K. This is an interesting one. Scantai99. When the Primarchs turned to Chaos, did their Marines get to pick their god? No. Pretty much whatever Chaos god that Primarch worshipped, he turned the rest of his... Well, because some Space Marines rebelled, but he turned his followers into that same Chaos god.
Yep. Yeah, that part's a little interesting because I'll go a little bit off in a tangent. After the Horus Heresy, there was Jain Seed back on Terra of the Traitor Primarchs, and that Jain Seed wasn't thrown away. It was actually preserved by probably the Adeptus Mechanicus, and later on, when there were more foundings and they needed Jain Seed, they brought that Jain Seed out and created basically the successor chapter, or the successor Space Marines of like Fulgrim or Perturabo, and those Space Marines that were loyal to the Imperium might have been tempted by other Chaos Gods.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have the Jain Seed of Fulgrim, which is traditionally Slanesh, but he could have, or that chapter could have been corrupted by Nurgle later on, or Khorne. Yeah.
In that instance, yeah.
Yeah. So play around with it, guys. Next question comes from Ethan Andrew. Do the Imperium of Man have video games? Sometimes, yeah. Pleasure Worlds, I'm pretty sure, have like virtual realities where you can play in this world. Next one.
This one's by Philip. Is the machine spirit an actual real thing, or does worshipping it only show that the Mechanicus doesn't really understand its own technology?
Both. I think it's the fact that they don't understand that it's AI. Are you worshipping an entity? Yeah, because AI has intelligence.
Artificially, but it's intelligence.
Yep. So a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Rumors saying that the Omnissiah could actually be the Void Dragon, but rumors. Mm-hmm.
Next question comes from Darkhunters. What kind of damage do noise marine weapons do versus humans? We've answered this before. Sonic, like sound waves, disrupting things, and you said bursting organs.
Yeah. Bleeding from your orifices.
Yep. Next question.
This one's by Omega Wave Films. Why don't the Praetors of Orpheus get love? Like, I see no videos about them. They seem pretty cool and their colors are nice, as they don't have the basic Ultramarine successor chapter look. The Orphans? Praetors of Orpheus?
Never heard of that.
Yeah, you'd have to look into it.
Yeah. Next question comes from MM Kadami. I am Sculpture and Superfan from Iran. Hey, what's up? How can I find and join friendly miniature societies to trade miniatures? Facebook.
Yeah, there's a bunch of groups. Mini War Gaming has like forums for stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. Daka.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? Bolters and Chain Swords?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, there's a bunch of like online forum places. Instagram also.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like Blanchitsu groups forming. It's not really 40K, but you know, it gets you into like the hobby world.
Yeah, it's a nice place to dip your toe to test the waters, so to speak.
The thing about Warhammer 40K is that at some point you will be the only one playing in your area. It's just natural. So enjoy it.
Yeah, it's an expensive hobby, and obviously over time, you know, you grow up, so to speak. So you don't have time for it anymore, or you just don't feel the need to like play with toys.
Yeah, you have to fall in love with different aspects of the game. Like right now, I'm really into like not so much the actual tabletop game, but the sculpting and like the painting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, in the future or in the past, it was about lore, so it's always changing, and you kind of have to fall in love with every aspect of the hobby.
Yeah, I feel like you always need to change it up because you're gonna get tired of the same thing over and over again. Like if you love playing games, eventually you're gonna play so many games, you're gonna be like, damn, like I don't want to play this game anymore, or I need a break. And that break slowly becomes bigger and bigger, and eventually you stop playing.
Yep.
Always forward, always. Can you guys record a game of your Warhammer tabletop so I know if I'm doing it right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got a playlist, but I feel like with most, like Mini War Gaming, Tabletop Tactics, Winters, they all show this pretty well. Because I feel like in any game you're always going to have like mistakes, especially with a game as like, I guess, rule heavy as 40K. Because there's always going to come up like with instances where you have to do like a house rule or something like that, because I feel like there's a lot of avenues that the game may come up with where there's not a rule exactly for the scenario, so you kind of have to play around with it. But yeah, if you want to see us play, we do have a playlist on bat reps. Most of them are like recap bat reps.
Yep. Next question comes from Reject X7. Is there ever a race that was so busy fighting against multiple enemies that they leave one army unbattled, such as the Sisters of Battles, too busy fighting renegades and in the Imperium to fight Tau? Yeah, you kind of hit it on the nose there. The Imperium was so busy fighting the Tyranids that they let the Tau Empire grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they were able to expand.
Yeah.
High Fleet Leviathan took the almost full attention during their whole thing when the Eastern Fringe and the Tau were like... Burp, 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 burp. Wait, was it the Tyranids? Or was it the Horus Heresy?
Burp, 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 burp.
I can't remember if it was the Horus Heresy or the Tyranids that ended up allowing the Tau to rise. But either way.
I think it was the Tyranids, because this was after the Heresy. Because if I remember correctly, there's like some Inquisitor that like looked into like a telescope like light years away, and the Tau were still like primates or primal. And then like they checked back years later, and they were already like way like technologically advanced. Because time and space.
Because time.
I had one. Mayhem 55. So I heard that in the tabletop, technically any low-level trash tier unit can kill like a Primarch, for example.
Yep.
So, what was the most unbalanced, unrealistic, luck-based thing that sort of happened to yourself that you saw happen in a 40k game?
My Gretchen destroyed a flying hive tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a great audience.
Yeah.
I had one drone survive like 3 rounds of combat against like your war boss and his retinue of like, was it like cyborgs or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did die, but like to survive all of that, and I don't think he was doing any damage either.
He was just tying up a really strong
yeah, really strong unit. Because literally, you should have killed him right away and then just like leapfrogged across my whole army.
Basically.
Yeah, but not that drone.
Uh-uh.
No.
Next question comes from Renil Calderon, and this will be the last question. Are Tyranids a metaphor for communism? I think it goes beyond that. I think Tyranids are not a metaphor, but they are just like a different life form, like ants or any type of hive mind organism that exists in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could literally put that on anything.
And it's supposed to represent something so alien we don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Because our minds have always... we are raised, and biologically, we are just about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a hive mind or like plants are just extremely alien to us in the way they think.
Right.
They still think, but they're just way different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below, and talk to you tomorrow.
As always, this is the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.
Oh, if you could put my freedom first.